Hi, welcome. My name is Karen and I'm with CK Customs PA. I'm also an admin on the Facebook group Cricut Help Desk Unofficial. And today in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a layered design using adhesive vinyl. Let's jump into Design Space and get started. I have here a canvas where I'm going to start by uploading an image. Over on the left, I'm going to click Upload and then Upload Image. I'm going to browse for my image. And in this case, I have found a teddy bear that I'm going to use to create a layered design. You may already have an SVG that you purchased somewhere that has layers, and if that's the case, you can probably skip forward a few steps. But in this case, we're going to have to do a little cleanup work with this teddy bear. Something I considered when selecting my design was the number of colors, and did they overlap where they touched more than one color. In this case, as you can see in my teddy bear, every color is only touching one other color. This is a great place to start for your first time layering. I'm going to click Complex and Continue. I'm going to remove the background, and then I'm going to focus on the teddy bear itself. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so I can see the full teddy bear. I'm going to use the wand tool over on the left, click Advanced Options, and I'm going to set my color tolerance to 100 to remove the background. The tolerance looks at the difference between the color you're clicking and any colors it's touching. In this case, it's looking at that yellow. When I clicked the white background, it made it disappear. Next, my intention is to make my design every other color removed. So let's look at this orange. I need to remove the orange instances, and in this case, they're all touching yellow. So because yellow and orange are close to each other on the color spectrum, I'm going to need to decrease my color tolerance a good bit. I'm going to go down to 30. Now if I select the orange areas, they're going to be removed. Continuing with the removing of every other color, I'm going to go ahead and remove the eyes. Then on the nose, we're going to have to leave the outer portion of the nose and just remove that little white highlight. If you click Preview at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that you now have a single dimension, single color cut design. That's what you're wanting at this stage. I'm going to click Continue. I'm going to make sure I'm selecting the cut image side. You can provide it a name and any additional tags you'd like to use, and click Save. Now if I click on my teddy bear and select Insert on the lower right, it's going to go ahead and bring it onto my canvas. I'm going to go ahead and immediately make this a little smaller so that it does fit onto our canvas. I'm going to drop it, the height, let's say, down to about a 7, and then you can see over on the left of my canvas that the 7 will be in screen. That's probably a good size for my teddy bear. Now, if you remember, originally my teddy bear had a yellow body with orange ears, paw pads, the mouth area, they were all orange. Then we had a black nose, black eyes, and a white spot on the nose. So that's what we're going to get to for our layers here. If I count those in total, that's going to be 4 colors. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the teddy bear 3 times for a total of 4 instances. You can see over on the right, I do have 4 layers. And just so we know what is what, let's go ahead and match them up to our 4 colors that we're using. So we'll leave 1 black. We're going to make 1 white. This will help us to know how to assign these. 1 orange. And 1 yellow / gold. It was kind of goldish. We'll go with that. All right. So if we're going to make this a layered design, we're going to have to fill in some of these cut pieces. Everywhere that it shows the background through it, it's actually a cut line that we're going to have to get rid of. Let's start with our base layer. That's our gold. We need to remove all of these cut lines so that you're really just getting a silhouette of the teddy bear. To do that, you're going to use contour, which is over on the far right hand corner at the bottom of your screen. Click contour, and you'll see your design show up. You can click the parts that we want to get rid of right there on the screen. You'll also see them over on the right side of contour. You can click them from there as well. You can also do hide all contours. That's going to remove every piece but what is ever in the top of this right side scroll bar. And in that case, that's perfect for us because we know that's what we want, is that silhouette of this one. So I'm going to go ahead and hide all contours. That only left my silhouette. If I close the contour screen, I now have that complete base layer. Let's go ahead and pull the orange one on top. And for the orange one, we know we need the insides of the ears, the mouth, the belly, and the paws on the pads. The pads on the paws. So we pretty much need a lot of the opposite of what we have. I'm going to click contour. And I'm going to go ahead and use that hide all contour again. But now this time I'm going to start to reveal the pieces I want. So I might do it on the image, so I'm sure I click the right ones. So I'm looking for that mouth here to highlight and click on that. The ears, 1 and 2. The belly. And then all the pieces on the feet. So we get all those pads of the teddy bear's paws. Lastly, I will need to remove the body itself. That's there because when we did contour all, that was the one remaining. You can click it on your image here or over at the top of the right side. Either way, it'll remove those. Go ahead and exit the contour window. And you can see we now have the parts that we're going to end up layering on that base in orange. Next, we're going to want to add the eyes and the outside of the nose. So we know that's our black piece here. Again, back to contour. And because we're really only focusing on so few, I'm going to go ahead and use that hide all again so I don't have to click each piece of the pads. And now just bring back the ones we want to be black. So we have each eye and the outer portion of the nose. Again, I need to unselect that top silhouette and close my contour. If I drag that onto my design, now all we have left is our white piece, which is just going to be the very inside of the nose for that highlight. One more time, I'm going to click contour. And again, I'm going to use hide all. Then simply bring back that little nose piece, remove the silhouette, and close contour. That left just that one piece. And I'm going to have to bring that to front. So if I do arrange, send to front, and I can bring that on top here. So as you can see, we have our 4 layers on the right. Each one is going to cut on the vinyl piece that I give it. And then we're going to layer those together. So let's go ahead and click Make It. You can see it has a mat assigned for each color. And you can put your vinyl right on the mats where they indicate starting in the upper left. Or you can join them together on a single mat, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and move my little white piece out of the way over to the far top corner. I'm going to come to my black mat. I'm going to click the 3 dots from the design, select Move Object, and choose to put it on the white mat. I know I'm going to still cut it on my black vinyl, and I'm going to show you that part, but I'm going to do one set of cuts on one mat. I'm going to go ahead and move that over to the far side, and I'm going to throw this one on bottom. Actually, I'm going to throw it on the bottom of the left. I'm going to give the most space to the major parts of the bear. So if I repeat this now for the orange pieces, click your 3 dots, move object over to your white mat. Let's go ahead and put that one in the bottom corner. And then last but not least, we're going to grab that gold base layer. Again, clicking the 3 dots, select move object, select your white mat one final time, click confirm. Now you have all 4 parts on one mat. I'm going to take my pieces of vinyl and I'm going to cut them. I'm going to cut them down to match the size needed per the screen here on the mat. So for instance, for this base layer that we're doing in gold, I'm going to cut a piece of gold vinyl down to about 5.5 inches wide by 7.5 inches long, and I'll meet you over at my Cricut. Hopefully now you have your pieces of vinyl cut to the sizes they were on the screen, and we're going to go ahead and put them on our cutting mat in the same placement they were on the screen. So if you remember, my gold base layer is going to be placed at the top corner. Next, I have my little white piece over in the top right. I have a small piece of black for the lower left. And then I have my orange for the lower right. I'm going to grab my squeegee and go ahead and make sure that these are secure on my mat. Okay, as you can see, I do have all 4 pieces on my mat ready to go into my Cricut cutting machine. Back on the computer, you'll go ahead and click Continue, then select your material. In this case, I chose vinyl. I'm going to load my mat into my machine. And go ahead and click the C that is flashing to begin cutting. Okay, now that my cut is complete, I'm going to go ahead and unload my mat. And I'll see you back at the table to take these off and begin layering. Okay, we're now ready to take our vinyl off the mat. I also have with me a piece of carrier and a piece of parchment paper that we're going to use. All right, to get these off the mat, you're going to want to gently bend back the corner of your mat and pull your piece kind of up and away. I'm not going to roll it over on itself. So I'm kind of pulling toward myself. Again, I'm going to fold back the corner of my mat to get a lip up. And then I'm going to kind of work my fingers under a bit to get it off of the mat. Again, not rolling the piece of vinyl over on itself. Just kind of moving my fingers under to hold the mat down as I pull the piece away. Okay, same thing for my little white piece in the corner. And then lastly, my gold piece. Pushing my fingers under to help it release. All right, so I can put my mat aside. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll need to weed away the excess. Let me grab my weeding tool. And I'm going to kind of put it in the corner and gently pull that away, making sure I keep all the parts. So in this case, I have my 2 eyes and the nose. This one is just a little spot for that nose reflection. We know the gold piece is our base, so we won't have any intricate parts on there. It should weed very easily. And then lastly, we have our orange parts. Just make sure as you're pulling your vinyl away that you're leaving behind all of your pieces of your design. So in this case, I'm kind of watching the pads to make sure that they all stay. If they don't, I'll just kind of stop and work with my tool to get them to stay down. And then my ears as well. Okay, I can put my weeding tool away. All right, so the first layer that we need to work with is our orange onto our base. So we need to get these orange pieces up onto our sticky carrier so that we can then place them onto our base. So let me take the sticky carrier, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put it on my clothes a little bit to make it a little less sticky. I want to make sure I'm able to release from the carrier sheet without too much difficulty. So I'm just kind of picking up a little bit of lint off of my shirt. All right, so I'm going to just kind of start at one end to make sure it goes on smoothly. So I'm looking down here at the bottom. And gently let it cover the entire design. I'm going to grab another squeegee. Yes, I keep these things everywhere. And I'm going to just put some pressure on the design that I need to come onto the carrier sheet. The ears. All right. So let's flip this over and let's let gravity help us. So because I want it to stay down with the carrier, you flip it over, that's your gravity. And in this case, I am going to roll back away the white paper that the vinyl was on. Okay. Put that white paper aside. We don't need it. So I need to get this vinyl onto my base. And I'm going to do that with my piece of parchment paper. So if you look here at my table, I'm going to go ahead and stick the parchment paper over the base, leaving just a little bit of that base design exposed. I'm going to grab my piece here on the carrier. I flipped it back over so it's right side up. It goes aside. And I'm going to line up over the parchment paper where I want these to sit. It may be helpful if you have a picture of your image from the computer still with you, just so you can see where those should go. And the parchment paper is going to help make sure it doesn't stick down before you're ready to do so. So I didn't like where that was quite, but the parchment paper kept it from sticking. Now I'm seeing my ears line up where I want them and my paws line up where I want them. So I'm going to go ahead and release that. And a little bit of my design here is touching. I'm going to push that down with my finger. Push kind of the carrier sheet down. And then gently slide out your parchment paper. If I kind of roll this back, it'll help me get started. But you should be able to gently pull that out. Then with your squeegee, push your design down onto your base layer. In this case, I'm only putting a little bit of pressure and I'm really only focusing it to where that design layer is. All right, and I'm just kind of using the very corner here, so that's where my pressure is going to adhere those two parts together, because I don't need it to pick up the full design at this point. Ears. All right, so at this time, I'm gonna slowly pull back my carrier sheet, and ideally we want the design to stay on the paper that the base was on. So it is picking up a little bit, I'm going to use my squeegee to help hold that down. But you can see my orange is now staying with the gold. As it moves toward other areas where there's gold, it may start to lift again there as well. Use your squeegee to help settle that back down. And I'm just kind of rocking it back and forth and sliding it away. Getting a little air out that got under there when the orange, when the gold lifted a little bit. But other than that, we have our base layer and our orange layer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my carrier down a little bit. I only need real small parts to do these last two, and I don't want the rest of it to kind of get in the way and be a problem for me. So let me grab my Cricut scissors. And I'm just going to cut it down to about the size of that nose and eyes piece that I'm doing next. Now you can reuse your carrier sheets, so you can put the back on that, and it is still good. All right, let's pick up the nose and eyes. Use my squeegee. Again, flip it over and roll the paper away. Okay. Now we're going to come back and place it on to the base with the orange. Now, because it's a small part, I can actually just do it eyeball, but if you needed to, you could still use the parchment paper. If you have multiple layers, if it was going over the full design, totally acceptable. All right, I'm just gonna gently, on just the black parts, push it down. And then I'm going to gently peel away that carrier sheet again. And then last but not least, I'll pick up the little nose highlight. I'm just kind of giving it a little firm pressure here with my finger. It doesn't really take much. See, I broke my own rule. I should have used my squeegee. Right. We've got that. We're going to place that right at the top. This time I learned my lesson. I'm going to use my squeegee. And then roll that away. So at this point, we have a full design layered. You can use your carrier sheet to pick the whole thing up. Let's see if I have enough left on this. Maybe I shouldn't have cut it down, but that's okay. I think I'll be able to make it work. Yeah, I'll be able to make this guy work. So I'm just starting it at the edge, pushing it down with my squeegee. I'm going to be creative here and throw the rest of my carrier sheet on that ear. Alrighty, let's flip this one over, peel off our backing. That came off nice and easy. Take whatever you're going to do to press it on. I'm just going to put it on this white binder here, but whatever you're creating your design for. If you're putting your design onto something for permanent use, that has like a slick surface, which is really ideal for the permanent adhesive, like your glass, your porcelain, all that. Make sure you spray it with your alcohol and wipe that off. Let it dry first. That's how you'll get the best adhesion. It removes any oils, dirt, dust, things like that. All right. So on this, you can use probably the taco method is best here, which is where you curl it up so you can center your design, set it down in the center, and use your squeegee to kind of move from the center out. That way you are removing out the air bubbles. And I'm going to come the other way, just like that. And gently, you should be able to, let me if I can get my nail under it, to roll your carrier sheet over itself, leaving behind your layered vinyl design. Hopefully that tutorial was helpful in creating a layered vinyl design using permanent adhesive. It also works with removable adhesive. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Happy crafting!